and welcome to Preview. My name is Giampapa. Preview.
And I'm DonLatulippe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue guy.
Hello and welcome to Preview. My name is Giampapa.
I'm DonLatulippe.
And on our program today we have Joanne Barrett, who's got a lot to talk about theater-wise. We'll meet with her in a few moments, but first let's talk about theater. Well, Big River, the current production at the Lyric Stage Company, first saw the light of day at the ART in Cambridge back in 1984. The Broadway production opened in '85 and ran for 1,005 performances while winning 8 Tony Awards. Director Spiro Valutis saw a revival of the show last year and was convinced Boston was ready to enjoy it once more. This adaptation is based on Mark Twain's classic 1884 novel called The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. What makes the story so charming is the music and lyrics of Roger Miller, who is best known for his King of the Road. Huck and his friend Jim journey down the Mississippi River as they meet the pleasures and injustices of life. Jordan Onquist portrays Huck Finn and DeLon Grant as Jim. Most of the action takes place on their raft, cleverly constructed by scenic designer Jane E. Howland. Her background scenery is mostly rear projection, and it works beautifully. It's quite convincing, giving the impression that the raft is actually moving. Others in the cast of note are Lee Barrett as Miss Watson and Maureen Keeler as Widow Douglas, the two women in Huck's life. Too bad their parts are small. Both women are accomplished actresses. Overall, I like the mood of Big River. It flowed nicely, and my recommendation is that you take the kids to see this great American classic. Once again, Spiro Valutis has done himself proud with Big River at Boston's Lyric Stage Company. The new rep in Watertown opened the current season with their version of Jonathan Larson's Pulitzer Prize and Tony Award-winning musical Rent. It's the story of a group of young struggling artists living the bohemian life in New York's Lower East Side. When it opened on Broadway, it was considered a groundbreaking rock opera and was based on Puccini's La Bohème. Rent is a contemporary version of it. The large cast is headed by John Ambrosino, who plays Mark. His voice is strong and he captures the role convincingly. Amy Doherty, no stranger to new rep, has a role quite different from what she has played in the past. Her rendition of Over the Moon could be called a showstopper. Not exactly sweet and lovely, but almost bordering on being coarse and crude. Although no warning was visible to my eyes, I would suggest you not take your children to see Rent. It's strictly for adults. Rent was directed by Benjamin Evett.
Jimmy Tingle is one hilarious political commentator who will be appearing at Harvard Square's Brattle Theater October 7th through the 9th. His show is called Jimmy Tingle's American Dream, and it's a rare theatrical event combining a screening, a question and answer segment with Jimmy and the director Vincent Stragas, and a live performance featuring highlights from Jimmy's newest one-man show, Jimmy Tingle for President, the funniest campaign in history. Jimmy Tingle's American Dream is a comedy, a commentary, and a conversation with some of America's most iconic personalities and social critics, as well as family, friends, and total strangers as they speak up and speak out on the American Dream. You'll meet Oscar winners and comedians, historians, and the homeless as he aspires to make us laugh, to make us think, and encourage us to dream. Jimmy Tingle has constructed another hilarious, thought-provoking, and politically charged one-man show based on his 2012 run for the presidency. You can see it all at the Brattle Theater from October 9th. That's the 7th through the 9th.
As I mentioned, Don, at the beginning of the show, our guest today is a wonderful woman. We've known her for, 100 years.
Don't be
maybe.
careful now. Be careful.
Well, not quite, but her name is Joanne Barrett, and she's a gem in the theater. She really is, and she's going to tell us all about what that means. Joanne, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me here.
It's nice having you here. Well, you've been promoting shows since
a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first one?
First one in Boston. Well, I'll give you a little background.
Okay.
I grew up just outside of Detroit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, and I was a young child actress. Wow. And so I was bit by the acting bug, and I did a few Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer, and I was on the cover of the Kellogg's Cornflakes box.
Wonderful.
Never saw the light of day, but I was on the cover.
Yeah.
And I did a small tri-state tour of Sound and Music as the little one.
Oh, yeah.
Gato. And then as I got older, I noticed that I was probably better off stage managing and things like that. So I actually became an equity stage manager, did some directing in undergraduate school. I actually have my degree from Miami of Ohio in communication education. I taught a bit. And then I went back to Connecticut, and my first job 2 days after I graduated was marketing and group sales associate for Darien Dinner Theater. And they were brand new. And 2 weeks from when they opened, they filed Chapter 11.
Oh.
But they stayed open for years under Chapter 11,
Really?
as some theaters do. Yeah. They make it. And I met wonderful people. We did mostly musicals. We had some special nights with the big bands, and got to know a lot of people, and finally decided I want to go to Boston, and I came here and got my master's from Emerson College in directing, and a little theater history on the side. And 2 days after I graduated from Emerson, I was the assistant to the producer for the Next Move Theater, which people now know as a nightclub on Boylston Place.
Right.
I think it's the Big Easy, if I'm not mistaken. So I've been here since 1981, and actually in the theater world since of 1983.
Why did you choose Boston?
I'd actually been here for 6 weeks. Darien Dinner Theater sent me here for 6 weeks for an arts advertising symposium at BU. Fascinating, and I just fell in love with the city. Just totally fell in love with the city. When I first moved here in '77, I worked at the Boston Shakespeare Company.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So, and there are many alums still here.
Yeah.
Spiro Valutis, as you
yeah.
just mentioned, and Mark Cartier, and yeah, it's quite a list of Richard McIlvaine, quite a list of people that I still know and still hang out with. Steve Avison, and so it's fun.
Wow.
You chose a city where you really worked at your trade. Because Boston is a colossal theater. There was a period there where it wasn't, but it's come back now so well.
Yep.
And I think one of the reasons for that is investment of monies by universities like Emerson.
Yep.
And Curry, of course, is a good theater group, and others. But and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the biggie shows that we bring back time and time again, because there's a different generation, were written or tried out in Boston.
It's very true.
That's right.
Very,
This
very
was
true.
the tryout time.
It was the tryout time.
Exactly.
Sure,
It's too
absolutely.
expensive to do that now.
Yeah.
I think it's more how the theaters are managed right now. I think that still will come back too. It's just different. It's not necessarily going to be the Colonial, the Schubert, the Wang Center, although I do think they'll very much be players still. It's our regional theaters. Obviously, Diane's work at ART, and Diane Paulus's work at ART, and Rob Orchard's, what he's bringing in at Arts Emerson is amazing. I think the modern theater is going to add homes for other places, but also new collaborations. And I'm just, as you both know, but your audiences probably don't, I went from the Next Move Theater, where we produced the first Secret Honor, which was a one-man show about Nixon, and we produced the first Lady Day, and we produced Tomfoolery at the Charles Playhouse. We were the first production ever in the Charles Playhouse when Frank Chagru still managed the theater. Wonderful people like Tim Jerome and Terry Courier were in that production, who you can see in Broadway shows now all the time. Tomfoolery was based on Tom Lahr's music. In fact, I was saying to somebody, I actually have an album of his that was signed by him to me, and I was thinking, I better find that and put that someplace, because I think that's probably a happy thing right now. Yeah, and I loved that production. But I was in the management side of those, and I met a man during tomfoolery by the name of David Balsam.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
And David and I just got to be great friends.
You guys clicked.
We did.
You really
and
did.
he invited me to be the executive director of a ballet company that he was on the board of, Copley Square Ballet, and they were housed on Boylston Street across from the library. So I was there for 2 years. And he then said, okay, I now need you. And so he was moving his PR office from Salem to Boston. And he and Michael Wasserman, who is quite a big producer, special events person still now in Boston, brought me in and shared me, essentially. And we did Rap Master Ronnie at the Next Move Theater at the time. I was both company manager and publicist. And David really, at his knee, I learned the craft. He knows that he gets all the credit for anything. He gets all the credit, and then if I fail, he gets that too. Yeah. But we're still very good friends. And we closed our shop in 2000. Yeah. And part of that was due to the fact that the national tours were not coming here, and a little boutique PR company needed those national tours. And our last one was the Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby that is going to be in Hanover, in Worcester this fall. So from there, I basically kind of took some of the clients that we could still have, went home, opened up my living room as my office, and that's where I've been ever since. Wow. And it's been a wide range of shows. But it was interesting because I was very welcomed into the regional theater community, even though we had done quite a bit of commercial theater. And I just respect the local talent on all levels, producing directors, managing directors, artistic directors, actors, stage managers, designers. We've got quite a bunch of people. And we were all just talking recently that in other cities, there's some sort of competition amongst each other, and there just isn't here.
That isn't here. Yeah. There's one thing, though. When David closed the office back in 2000, that's about the time that Broadway in Boston came on the scene.
It is.
Did that have any effect on the closing?
Absolutely. They took their PR in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, knowing those people very well, they're very good, and it was the right thing for them to do financially.
Yeah.
But it did limit what we were going to be able to do. So, yeah, I think now I'm actually a union press agent, which most people don't even know there is such a thing, but I am. And so I do get some of the outside tours still, which one of them is we're launching the national tour of High by Matthew Lombardo. And it stars Kathleen Turner.
Right.
And that's going to be the December 6th through the 11th at the Cutler Majestic.
Oh, good, good.
And that's an outside producer, St. Louis Repertory Theater, who's been involved in their people, are actually launching a national tour. It'll be about 8 to 10 U.S. cities, and then eventually a 2012 production in London. And so,
is she going to London with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
you know, I received an accolade from that woman.
Oh, yeah.
She was doing a press conference for The Graduate.
Yeah.
But she was wonderful.
And there was, we were all sitting there, the press, and she looked at me and she said, "You look like a proper Bostonian." So I said to her, "Do I get a kiss?" She came right down.
Kissed him.
Mwah!
She's lovely.
Oh, she really is.
Lovely.
We have a great time.
Lovely. I actually talked to her yesterday, and I said, "You know how excited they are that you're coming?" She goes, "Boston does like me, don't
Yeah,
they?"
we really do.
We really
After
do.
she remembers
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
proper Bostonian who she kissed.
Yeah. I will do
Everybody
that.
went, gasp.
I will do that.
She will remember us. She won't, probably not by name, but she will remember us.
Well, the interesting thing is I was talking to the director, Rob Ruggiero, today. Rob grew up in Milford.
Oh.
And just got a special degree, honorary degree at Stonehill College.
Really?
This past May. So I was talking to him this morning, and I said, "I need to run you around when you get here." And he said, "I'm happy to do that." So he has New England ties, too. So, yeah, we're very excited about this production, and I think it's a real, we've all been talking. I think it's really important that